Right now, we are going to learn about how to apply motion blur in an image in Adobe Photoshop. So what is motion blur? It's a kind of filter that when you apply that filter in an image, it will seem like a motion graphics. That means something is running and you will have the effect like motion graphics, and we're going to learn these things in this lesson. So let's start the process how you will apply the motion blur effect to an image in Adobe Photoshop. So at first we have to open our exercise file. So here is the file menu, here is the open option, and inside our exercise file you will get this Oluwakemi Solaja Unsplash image. So you just have to select this image and then you have to click open. Okay, here you go. You can take a look. A man is running, and we are going to apply the motion blur effect. That means when we will apply the motion blur effect, all the background and all the rest of the stuffs will get the blur effect, and that will be similar like the motion blur, or that will be similar like a motion. So let's start the process. So we have to follow the same procedure as like before. So you just have to duplicate the background layer. So let's duplicate the background layer. You just have to right click with your mouse and then you will get this duplicate layer option. So let me write motion blur. Okay. And we do have the same procedure as like before. So right now we have to go for the selection part, and you can take a look. We got the subject in here. So that's why we're going to use the advanced selection method. That's why I want to use this select menu, and here is the subject option. So let me select this subject option. Okay, here we go. You can take a look. We got the perfect selection using the select menu and subject option. And now what we have to do? Can you remember it? Yes, you are right. We have to add a layer mask, and we will make the separation this subject from this image. So let's add the layer mask, and where you will get it? You will get it inside the layers panel. So here is the layers panel, and so let me click on this, add a layer mask option. So you can take a look, the subject or this man is separated from the image. So let me turn off the background layer. You can take a look, we only have the subject in here. So let me turn on the background layer once again. Okay, cool. So right now what we have to do, we have to convert this motion blur layer into a smart filter as like before. So please make sure this motion blur layer is selected, and then you have to go for filter option, and then you will get this convert for smart filters option. So let me select it, and then you have to click OK. Okay, you can take a look. We got the motion blur filter, and it's converted into a smart filter. So right now we have to apply the motion blur filter to this entire image, and that's why you have to select the background layer. So let me select the background layer, and now we will go for the filter menu because we are going to apply the motion blur filter to this image. It's almost similar as like the before for making the background blur, but we are not going to use the Gaussian blur effect for this, or Gaussian blur filter for this image. We are going to apply motion blur filter for this image. That's why we have to follow the same process. Just please make sure that background layer is selected, and then you have to click on this filter menu. Here is the blur option, and inside the blur option you will get this motion blur option. So let me select this motion blur option. Here we go. You can take a look. Here is the pop-up for motion blur, and here is the distance pixel of the motion blur. So for making the motion blur, or for applying the motion blur filter to this image, you have to increase the distance. So let's increase the distance. Okay, a small or a slight effect, motion blur effect, is applied on this image. So let's increase the distance pixel a little more. Okay, I think now it looks much better than before. So let me click OK. Okay, now we have the perfect motion blur applied to this image, and this is pretty simple. And this is the difference between the using the Gaussian blur and motion blur. In last lesson we applied the Gaussian blur for making the background blur, and in this lesson we apply the motion blur for motion blur filter for making the motion graphics image. So let's have some practice, and I'm requesting you once again, please do the practice along with me so you can keep in your mind how to make the motion blur in an image using the motion blur filter. And when you will work with the motion graphics, you have to use this filter a lot. So that's why please keep practice about this lesson. So see you in next lesson.